Hey everyone, it's Pat from Pat's Out Music, and today we're checking out two very similar yet very different guitars. We're checking out the classic sort of Fender Stratocaster, and we're also checking out the Ernie Ball by Music Man Cutlass guitar. Now this is more of a traditional design that you've seen before, and this is taking those traditional designs and then taking them that one step further and bringing them into the modern age. But what's really cool is by the end of this video, I'm actually deciding myself, hey, which one of these am I gonna buy myself? Because I have been missing some single coil action, and these guitars are the best at what they do. So hopefully by the end we will have one winner, and then I'll actually purchase that guitar. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Let's dive in, enough yakking. We're gonna be checking out some clean tones, some classic rock, some lead tones, and some tremolo tests. But stay tuned for a full in-depth review of both sort of guitars. All right, let's dive on in, let's do it. Alright, so we've heard the clean test. Let's check out more of a classic rock sort of distorted test. Now instantly you will notice that the Fender has more of traditional single coils with just that traditional sort of 60s style hum, whereas the Ernie Ball Cutlass guitar, it actually has a silent circuit on board, so it's powered by a 9-volt battery, and you'll instantly notice that that circuit cuts out that unwanted hum, which is really noticeable when you're playing with any sort of distortion. It's also noticeable in clean, but it really is apparent. So just have a listen to the Fender. Same amount of distortion, far less hum. Pretty cool. Let's check out the Fender again. Okay, and finally, both guitars have very different tremolo systems. We're going to check out both of them. I'm going to go into the nitty-gritty afterwards, but I'm just going to do a bit of a test. Start off with a little bit of clean warbling and then some full-on sort of dive stuff, and we'll see which guitar actually holds tune at the end. Let's take a break from the audio tests and let's check out some of the differences between these two guitars. I know they look really similar, but there are a lot of massive differences and upgrades between both of these guitars. So when you're talking about the Fender, you've got that sort of classic design, but the one problem that's in a few of sort of Fenders that I've owned is that it is sort of body heavy. That is, as you can see, the neck is just diving straight up. Now, when it's against your body, when you're, when it's on your knee, that may not sort of been a big sort of factor or a big deal for you, but it's certainly something that I instantly notice, and it's something that I want you to know about. The other thing is with the neck, just to think about it, is like a lacquered neck, like a varnished, almost as, it feels like the body, like that sort of shiny sort of surface. You may like it, you may not like it, but it's certainly something to think about. The other thing to think about is the tremolo is that old school sort of wind in, round and round and round and round, until it sort of gets in. That's sort of old school design, and it is that classic sort of Fender input jack on the side. This bit, the nut, I have sort of seen that get loose a few times on my guitars, just putting it in and out and in and out and in and out, just from that sort of, I think, that particular sort of style design there. And otherwise, maple neck and rosewood fingerboard. Still seems really nice. It's a bit maybe thinner, I would say, than the Cutlass guitar. But otherwise, still a really well-made instrument, but it is more of that sort of traditional guitar, I would say. Let's jump over to the Cutlass. So checking out the Ernie Ball Music Man Cutlass, you look at it and from a distance you would think, oh yeah, it's the same as the Fender. There's so many different things. So for starters, when you look at the neck is an oiled finish and it's more of a V shape. That is, it's not as sort of thin as the Fender. And with that sort of oil finish as well, it feels like it's a vintage instrument. It feels like you've been playing it for years. It doesn't have that sort of really strong and thick lacquer. It's more of like a satin finish. That's something to really note. And also, the tuners there are locking. So what that means is you put the string in and you cut it, and then you just twist those and it locks in. You don't need to just wind round and round and round. Just put it in, cut, nice and clean, and then lock it in like that. The other cool thing is the fretboards, both the rosewood, but on the Ernie Ball, the Cutlass, they're rolled edges, so it feels a bit smoother, a bit nicer to play. With the input jack, it's not that sort of, that design where it's sort of top mounted, it's on the side there. And the other cool thing is with the tremolo, it's that pop-in sort of arm design. I did an entire video on the tremolo because I was so impressed. I'm gonna cut right now to the tremolo test of this guitar. So let's cut and then we'll talk back. As you can see in here, pretty amazing. This is by far the best tremolo I've ever used on a guitar, but it's a system, of course. So it's the tremolo as well with the their sort of patented nut and just the overall sort of body design that just makes the guitar stay in tune that much better. Now, I sort of grew up watching Dream Theater and Steve Lukather on stage, and they'd have solos where they'd use the tremolo quite a bit, and there's no locking nut, and I would just think, how do they do it? Is it actually that good? But it is. So definitely check out that full tremolo video if you want me to really put the tremolo through the paces. I don't know what sort of wizardry and what sort of tech's going on, but it is really, really staple. The other cool thing is the Cutlass does have that silent sort of circuit. Yes, it does use a 9-volt battery, but the way that it affects the tone is to take away, to EQ out all that awful, awful hum, especially with distortion. It's really, really sticks out there. And the last thing is the truss rod is down there. It's nice and easy to access. It's not sort of up there in that sort of old school design, and there's no sort of skunk stripe on the back of the neck. It's just a one-piece neck. And the new Cutlasses even have a flame, which looks absolutely stunning. So hopefully I can check out that. Now, when it comes to making my decision, I think it's probably pretty obvious by the end of this video, but I have chosen the Cutlass. The reason why I've chosen the Cutlass is it's taken all of the best things of the Fender and it's just take them into this new age. It's put in the locking tuners, the silent circuit, you know, the better tremolo, the sort of better sort of body weight design. It's taken everything that Fender did well for so long and then it's done it better. This feels to me like a custom shop instrument. This feels like it was made by a small team, and it is. These Cutlass guitars are made in America. They're made by a small team. Everyone sort of goes through and double checks everything, and it just feels straight off the bat like you're playing something that's almost been made by hand. It really does have that high level custom shop feel and design. And so because of that, it just feels like a really unique instrument. It doesn't just feel like, oh yeah, you've just picked one off the shelf. There's really is something special about it. And I'm really happy to say that between the two, I've decided to pick up the Cutlass for myself. And if you were deciding between the two, I would hands down say, go and check one out in the shops. Now, it's so much money when you're talking about high-end guitars like this, but you're talking about an instrument that's gonna last you years and years, an instrument that you can pass down through your family, an instrument that you can gig with, an instrument that you can tour with, an instrument that you can record with, just a solid instrument for a solid amount of money. But at the end of the day, what I recommend to everybody is to head into a music shop and to play one firsthand. If you don't have access to that or you can't do that, order one in and check it out, but I don't think you will be disappointed in any way. It's this Strat design that we know and love, but taken into this sort of 21st century, and I could not be happier, and this will be my new guitar. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, there are going to be really, really thorough reviews of these instruments. If there's anything you want to hear or see, definitely leave a comment below. But otherwise, I've been Pat from Pat Dev Music. Thanks so much for making it to the end. I'll see you all again